Today I am going to tell you about India's greatness and India's vastness, what was observed by the foreign people, by the great philosophers of the world. What was their perception about India? I would like to highlight today India's vastness, India's greatness, and India's superiority on the earth since thousands of years, right? So, we all know the name of Friedrich Max Muller. He was a German Indologist, and he was a great philosopher also. He wrote that there is no book in this world that is so thrilling, stirring, and inspiring as the Upanishads. So, every day in India itself, hundreds of books are being published. Similarly, throughout the world, thousands of books are being published daily in the world now. But out of all those books, why Max Muller said that Indian book, the Upanishad, is the most stirring, thrilling, and inspiring book. There is no other book in the world which is more stirring, more thrilling, and more encouraging or inspiring like this Upanishad. Alright. So, my book, India 2047, How Can India Become a Superpower by 2047, a vision. In the beginning, in the preface, I have written this quotation and then started. This book begins its auspicious journey with the famous observance of a great 19th century German-born British educated philologist and Orientalist, Friedrich Max Muller. When he was only 21 years old and studying in Berlin with Friedrich Schilling, he took up the noble task of translating the Upanishads and started to research Sanskrit. Max Muller even published a translation of the Hitopadesha, a Sanskrit book on the Indian fables in German language. He studied Sanskrit in Paris and published the complete Rig Veda with the manuscripts then available in England. These acts of Muller indicate that since the ancient period, India has been rich in its richer literature, culture, and it inspired, stirred, and thrilled millions of people across the world. I acknowledge that I was greatly inspired by the holy book of the Upanishad. Emperor Ashoka once said, "Doing good work is difficult. He who does it first does the difficult thing." So, the person who starts or who begins a noble work, a good work, that is the difficult thing. So, good work is always a good work. A bad work, similarly, is always a bad work. That is why we should do good work, right? Many years before my reading of the Upanishad, I read the Amrit Bani of Swami Lokesharananda, where he wrote, "You will do all works." You see Indian philosophy, how rich Indian philosophy is. Swami Lokesharananda ji wrote that, quote, "You will do all works, but you should keep your faith and mind in God. In one hand, you perform your works, and with the other hand, you hold God. And after finishing or completion of your works, hold God with two hands." You see, what a great philosophy! What a great philosophy! It means whatever work we are doing, we should do being spiritual, being gentle, without any bad thought in our mind. So, this is the philosophy of India, that all good works should be done by us by keeping faith in God. And after the completion or finishing of our job or work, we should hold God with two hands. While we are doing work, we will do our work by one hand, and by the other hand, we have to hold God. After completion of our works, we have to hold tightly God. It means we have to embrace God. We have to surrender ourselves at the feet of God Almighty. So this is Indian philosophy. This is Indian philosophy, right? So this was such an inspiring lesson for me that since my possession of the book means that Amrit Bani of Lokesharananda, I have read it at least 10 times. Therefore, when I embarked upon this noble task, I was firmly convinced to write every word, keeping my faith and mind in God. And after finishing my manuscript and submitting it to the publisher, I should hold God tightly with two hands. Let me begin the holy book with the pronouncement of a sacred hymn of the Upanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Bhavishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the book begins with these holy words of the Upanishad. This indicates that Brahma is endless and this universe is eternal, but this universe is just an imposed entity of that Brahma. This universe has no independent substance. Our universe exists because of the existence of Brahma. What Indian philosophy is, you see. One may remove this universe, still Brahma remains perpetual. Let there be peace of body of mind. Let there be tranquility in the environment and respite from natural disasters, and let people enjoy quietness from the mishap of insects, ferocious animals and diseases. So this is the prayer of the book. The book, How Can India Become a Superpower by 2047, begins with this holy prayer to God Almighty. What? That let there be peace of body and mind of all the people throughout the world. Let there be tranquility in the environment and respite from natural disasters. And let people enjoy quietness from the mishap of insects, ferocious animals and diseases. This is India. This is India. That is why you should read this book.